100%. Yes, you heard me right. 100%. If you use this affirmation exactly how I describe it in this video, exactly how I'm going to teach you how to use it, it works 100%. No matter if you're trying to manifest something simple or you're trying to manifest something really, really hard. You need to learn this affirmation because it works 100%. 100% work for me and it can work for you. So I know this sounds cliche. I know this sounds like I've taken that off an ad somewhere. I didn't. It's morning time, by the way. Got my coffee down here. I'm in Thailand. I'm downstairs in the lobby. Wanted to go outside, get some more of the scenery of the pool and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it is loud this morning. We got some swimmers in the pool doing some Olympic swimming. So it's just like too loud. To me, they're cleaning outside, which is good, but it just produces so much sound. Like just how the condo's built. When you kind of come downstairs to the pool, the fitness center, it just sucks in the sound for some reason, and it has that echo effect a little bit. But anyway, let's get rocking and rolling here with this affirmation. Okay, one of the things we have to understand with affirmations, a couple things before we get going here, what we're going to talk about in this video. For one, I'm going to show you how to use this affirmation that I use and the way to use it. Okay, there's a way to use it. For one, we want to keep it simple. We want to keep it no conflict. And we want to say it how we talk. Those are the three ways what we have to talk about here. Okay, we have to keep it simple rather than memorizing a whole paragraph. Okay, the second thing is most of the time affirmations don't work. It's because it creates conflict in your mind. Okay, you say something and secretly you say to yourself, that's not true. You know what I mean? And the other way is saying it how you talk. Okay, like I can write an affirmation for you, but I'm going to write it in the way how I talk. Okay, or even if I write an affirmation and we write it professional, like we're taught in school and college, we write it how an attorney talks or a doctor talks. Okay, we write it grammatically correct, but that's not how we really talk. Okay, you need to say things how you really talk. Okay, those are the keys here. Okay, now let's move on here. Now, let me describe to you my story. I'm going to tell you my story. I'm going to tell you exactly how I use this affirmation and exactly what I manifested. So that way you can kind of get a good idea how I used it and what I said, how I said it, and when I said it. Okay. So, I live in Thailand, been living in Thailand since 2021. So I go back and forth. Okay. I usually go home in the summers to visit family for a few months, and I come back to Thailand. So the biggest thing in Thailand is the visa. If you're under 50 years old, it can be hard to live in Thailand. Okay. Or you have to jump through a lot of hoops. But I'm in Thailand right now. So I just been back for like 2 months. And I just came back because I stayed for a few months in the United States because my niece got married. But when I was here before, I was here for 6 months. And for that 6 months, I knew I was going home for my niece's wedding. And so when I just came back on a tourist visa. And a tourist visa, you can stay 3 months. And what you do after that tourist visa is after your 3 months is up, okay, I can't file no more extensions. Okay, I can stay 3 months. Now, either you have to do border runs, like leave the country, come back by foot or boat, or you by plane, leave the country, come back. Then when you come back, if you don't come back on a visa, you can stay for 30 days, or you can stay with a visa exemption for 30 days or 60 days. But then you have to file extensions, then you have to leave again, come back, leave again, come back, do border runs and come back. That's usually how it works. Right? If you're not on a retirement visa, if you're really trying to live here. So you really have to jump through some hoops. It costs a little bit of money just because you're always doing something, it seems like every single month. So before I came back this time, I was here for 6 months. So with this 6 months, I set an intention. So I was like, I want to be on a longer visa. I don't want to do tourist visas or multiple entry visas that I'm only here for 6 months, only here for 3 months. I want to be here for 1 year and not have to leave, not have to file extensions, be on a better visa. But at that time, my choices were like very, very, very slim. I'm below 50. That's the retirement age in Thailand to do a retirement visa. My only other choices was do an education visa, basically go back to college in Thailand and either study Thai or something simple like that. Then I could stay a year, but I have to go to school. Okay. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do that. And the only other option behind there is if you own property. Now, if you own a house or a condo, it has to be a certain price. You can get a non-O visa, meaning that you can stay 1 year. But that's a whole nother story. And when you start talking about property and owning property as a Falong or as a foreigner in Thailand or a foreign country, it's incredibly risky when you start going down that rabbit hole. But that's not for this video. And I know I'm being long-winded here, but keep with me because I really want you to see really what's going on. So this was a difficult attention, okay? Like when I want to stay here 1 year and I don't want to do the education visa, I don't own property here, so I can't do the non-O visa. My only option is a 3-month tourist visa or a 6-month multiple entry visa, which even with a 6-month multiple entry visa, you still got to leave and come back. They still want you to leave, okay, and go to other countries and come back to Thailand. And if you just want to set your base here and you don't want to leave, or you want to leave but you want to leave on your terms, I mean, those are my two options: a tourist visa and a multiple entry tourist visa. Okay, they're both tourist visas, and they're both short term. So I want you to get the clear picture here, like my options to really live here and not have to jump through hoops every single month and spend money every single month. This was a difficult intention. Okay, so this is what I did. So when I was here before, I was here for 6 months. I was leaving May 15th because my niece was getting married June 1st. Okay, and I'm talking about this year right here. This is November right now, 2024. So I set this intention. I set an intention that I don't know what visa I'm going to be on, okay, but I'm on a 1-year visa. So I did kind of the Never Galo technique. In the beginning, I did the Never Galo technique where when I would go to bed at nighttime, I would kind of get into a sleepy state because I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I would go inside my imagination, and I would see myself having my 1-year visa. And I didn't control the how. Okay, that's the biggest thing you got to understand here. I didn't control the how. It wasn't like, what visa am I on? How did I get it? Okay, what did I do to get it? Okay, no, I already have it. That's the whole point of living in the inn. When you go inside your imagination, you already have. So what I did inside my imagination, and this was a little bit easy for me just because I've been to Bangkok airport before. I've flown to Thailand several times before. I've been to immigration many times before. And I've been to immigration when you actually land in Bangkok airport or Phuket airport and you have to go through immigration there. So I've been through this whole process. So it was easy for me to kind of create this imaginal scene in my mind. And that's why I did. I created this imaginal scene in my mind. And I could see myself and feel myself, being, traveling back to Thailand, being on the plane, landing in Bangkok. I know the route in the Bangkok airport, how long it takes to walk to get to immigration when you pass through immigration to show your visa. I could see myself and feel myself do all that. I could feel myself, hand them my printed off copy of my visa. I'm staying for 1 year. They hand it back, say, okay. I mean, they write everything in my passport, they stamp it, they hand it back, and I go to baggage claim. Okay, I did this in my imagination. Okay, literally almost every single night for 6 months. Okay, and I mixed it with a couple other intentions, but this was one of my main intentions I set. Then on top of that, now we're getting to this affirmation I used. Okay, I created this bedtime routine. Now doing my 3D world, okay, during the security they're walking by. But during my 3D world, during my waking world, okay, you want to use affirmations. So now we're getting to this affirmation. Okay, the power of this affirmation I used and how simple it is. It's simple. It created no conflict in my mind. and it's how I talk. Okay, how I talk to how I talk to myself, how I talk to other people. It's Chad. Okay, and that's really important when I say this, because your subconscious mind knows how you talk. Your subconscious mind is you. Bottom line, it's you. You don't have to be prim and proper and talk like a doctor when you're not a doctor. Even if you're a doctor and an attorney, well, when you're at home, you probably don't talk like a doctor and attorney like you do at work. Okay, you're probably a little bit more laid back, have a little bit more of a slang in your speech, a little bit. So talk how you talk. That's the most important thing here. But let's get to my affirmation. The key thing I did with my affirmation was in my 3D world, and I just did this organically. It just came to me organically. And what I would do is anytime when I would go out through my day, that I would think about, when I would just randomly think about my coming back to Thailand, randomly think about what I'm going to do with my visa, randomly think about, how your mind starts trying to control the how. It didn't matter. If I was thinking about my visa in Thailand, what I'm going to do when I come back, what I'm going to do after my niece gets married and I come back, how all this is going to happen. This is what I said. This is the exact affirmation I used, is when I come back to Thailand, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. Simple. And I said this affirmation. It was a simple, short, sweet, to the point, exactly how I talk. And I said it almost like a robotic affirmation, because as I went throughout my day, anytime I had, just a secret thought, or I just secretly start thinking about it, I would either say it out loud, or I would tell myself, when I come back, I'm going to come back on a 1-year visa. In my 3D world, I'm speaking the truth out loud, exactly what I want. When I come back, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. I didn't say I have a 1-year visa now, because technically it wasn't really true. That would have created internal conflict. That's what I mean by internal conflict, is you say something and deep down it's not true, and your mind just, that's not true. You know what I mean? So I didn't say I have a 1-year visa, because I was already in Thailand on a tourist visa at the time. It would have created too much internal conflict for me. But I said, when I come back, okay, because remember, I'm leaving Thailand, I'm going home for my niece's wedding, I'm going to stay 2 or 3 months, and then I'm going to come back to Thailand. So then my affirmation was, when I come back, I'm going to be on a 1-year visa. So it created no internal conflict. My subconscious mind your conscious mind just agrees with it, because it hasn't happened yet. And when you come back, you're going to be on a 1-year visa. And I said it robotically. And I said this almost every day until it got to the point where I wasn't thinking about it so much. But anytime during this period, during this 6-month period, anytime I thought about it, anytime I thought about my visa, anytime I thought about coming back, anytime my mind started going down the rabbit hole of trying to control the how, I would say, well, when I come back to Thailand, when I fly back, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. Amazing things happen when I did this. So this is so simple technique. The amazing things happen is, now let's fast forward time. Okay, I did this for 6 months, and now I'm leaving Thailand. I'm going home May 15th, 2024. And my niece is getting married June 1st, 2024. So I go home for the wedding. I have jet lag for the next couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. And I did this intention. I said it so much. When I went home, I didn't even think, listen to this, I didn't even think about my visa. Isn't that amazing? I did this for 6 months while I was in Thailand. When I went home, it was literally almost out of sight, out of mind. I didn't think about it. I didn't worry about it. It came after the wedding, June 1st. It was almost the middle of June, almost, not quite the middle of June, almost the middle of June. I had to book my flight back to Thailand. So if I keep on waiting, I'm going to have to pay a really expensive price, or I'm going to extend it out. And so I booked my flight back to Thailand about the middle of June for the end of August. So how visas work, you have to book your flight first. So if you've dealt with this before, You kind of know the process. You have to have your flight first before you even think about filing a visa. So I wasn't even thinking about visa at that time. All I knew was I'm gonna go back to Thailand. I need to book a flight, so that way I'm going back during a decent time. Plus, I have my condo here. I'm still paying for my condo here while I'm there, so that kind of urges me to go back. But anyway, I booked a flight middle of June and for the end of August of 2024. I booked a flight. When I booked the flight, for whatever reason, I still didn't give any thought to my visa. Okay, I still didn't think about it, and I thought about it a couple of times, and even in Ohio, I did think about it a couple of times, but I did the same thing when I started thinking about it, about the visa, what visa I was going to be on. I would say I was so programmed at this point. I would say, well, when I go back, I'm going back on a 1-year visa. Then my mind would just shut off, and I think because I did it so much the 6 months prior, because I was in Thailand for 6 months, I conditioned myself this way. But when I was in Ohio visiting a family, I didn't think about how I was going to go back to Thailand. I didn't get on the computer and search a whole bunch of different visas, how I was going to do it, try to finagle everything. I didn't. I just let it go. I didn't even think about it. And when I did think about it, I think about it a couple times while I was there. I would just say, well, when I go back, I'm going back on a 1-year visa. Even after I have my plane ticket, when I go back, I'm going back on a 1-year visa. And you know what happened? Is it came down to the wire. I usually file my visas 1 month before travel. So that's usually just to play it safe, that nothing happens, it doesn't get denied, they don't want more information from you. It's best practice to file a visa 1 month before your plane takes off. So my plane's leaving August 27th. It was literally the beginning of August. I think about 4 weeks out, maybe the tail end of July. And it came to the tail end of July, and I'm thinking to myself, I have to sit down and file my visa. I can't wait no more. I got to sit down and file my visa. But at the time, when I sat down to file my visa, my mind kind of went in the gutter a little bit. So I'm thinking, dude, I'm going to have to file the tourist visa. I haven't researched none of this stuff. I'm just going to have to do the same thing, file a 3-month visa, maybe do the multiple entry visa for 6 months. But with 6 months, you still got to leave. Okay, but that's the whole thing with multiple entry. You still got to leave. I don't want to get into particulars because it's not really important. The only thing important is it's not a 1-year visa. Okay. When I sat down to file, that's why I thought I was going to have to file. So I didn't research it at all since I was in Ohio visiting family, going to the wedding and stuff like that. But amazing thing happened. It was on the day I had to file. I had to file something. When I sat down to file, I was on a New York embassy website, and I was looking at the visas. And on July 15th, remember, this is probably July 20th at the time, July 22nd, when I actually sat down to file. But on July 15th, Thailand came out with a brand new visa for digital nomads. Okay. And you can get it for a couple of different reasons, but it's really kind of the nickname, the digital nomad visa. The visa is actually called the Destination Thailand visa. And guess what? With the Destination Thailand visa, it's a 5-year visa. I wanted a 1-year visa. It's a 5-year visa. Multiple entry means I can go and come as I please. It doesn't break my visa. I don't have to jump through hoops and all that stuff. So 5-year visa, multiple entry, and I can stay up to 1 year in Thailand before leaving. So in 1 year, I do have to leave and come back. I can stay 1 year. It came down to the wire. It came down to the day I had to file. Right the day I had to file, they came out with this new visa just a week prior. And I looked at the requirements. After I looked at requirements, I was like, oh, I meet all these requirements. So I filed a visa, submitted all my requirements for the visa, and it was approved in 1 day. Now, some of you might be thinking that, well, Chad, that's just coincidence. Okay, but it's not coincidence. Like I say that word, coincidence. It's not. It doesn't happen just by accident. Okay, it happens because I stated it. That's what I wanted, and that's how the universe works. That's how God works. God will align things in your favor so you get what you want. No matter if it's a dream car, dream house, or dream career, you want to be wealthy, you want millions of dollars. They will align things to get what you want. Same way, It aligned things perfectly to happen where Thailand came out with a brand new visa. Perfect time, perfect situation, perfect moment, in the right place at the right time. That's manifesting. But let's go back to this affirmation I used. Okay, but that's the whole point of this video. And I know my story was long, but I really want you to get what I was doing, how I was using it. And for one, again, it was an easy affirmation, easy to remember. I spoke in my language how I speak. Okay. And it created no conflict in my mind. Okay, because when I first started using it, I was in Thailand. So anytime I thought about it during my waking day, going throughout my day, I would just say, when I come back to Thailand, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. And I said it so much robotic that when you say things long enough, you tend to believe. Okay, then when I went back to Ohio for a few months, I said it so much when I was in Thailand for that 6 months that when I went to Ohio, I didn't even think about it at all. I didn't research it, didn't research visas. I didn't wonder how this was going to happen. I just let it go because I practiced letting it go in Thailand. And anytime I thought about something, anytime it came to my mind, I said, when I go back to Thailand, I'm going back on a 1-year visa. And you can do the same thing. Okay, no matter what you want, create a little affirmation around it. That is something like mine. For one, it's easy. It's how you talk, and it creates no internal conflict. Okay, when you're saying something and your mind is like, that's not true, then people struggle with affirmations. Okay, because your kind of your subconscious is saying, oh, it's creating so much that it's like, dude, you're crazy. You know what I mean? And another way to use these affirmations, and you got to mix it around. It's not just, you might not use exactly my affirmation, but the style I'm using it, that's what I'm talking about. Another thing I'm doing here right now in the moment is every time I spend money, I'll get in the habit of saying, every time I spend money, it comes back to me double. It's just a simple little affirmation. Because like for me, sometimes as a kid, I always have that nervousness when I spend money, no matter if I have money. I have, to buy stuff for myself. I don't know why I'm like that, but just to kind of get over that, I created this little affirmation. Every time I spend money, every time I go out to eat, every time I go to the mall, every time I buy something, sometimes I say it out loud, sometimes I say it to myself. Every time especially in Thailand, most of the time you're paying cash. So in the States, we hardly pay cash anymore. You're always using your debit card. So sometimes just a difference of always handing over cash, it kind of puts you in a different state a little bit. So every time I pay for something, I say, well, every time I spend money, it comes back to me double. If something bad happens to me, negative, or if something negative happened to me, I get repaid by 7 times. And this is in the Bible. I didn't say exactly how the verse is. But anything negative happens to me, I'm repaid by 7 times. 7 times the goodness is going to come to me. I start saying these like simple little affirmations I make up. Some of them align with the Bible. Some of them align with spiritual texts that speak the truth. The truth is abundance is inside you. Abundance is your birthright. That's the truth. The truth is abundance is all around me. We just have to open our eyes, open our spiritual mind, our subconscious mind, and see it. But that's how I use these affirmations. Keep it simple. I use it robotic. I say it same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and until it becomes a part of you, until you truly believe it. And I'm creating no conflict in my mind. Every time I spend money, well, it comes back. Every time I spend money, it comes back to me double. Like I pay my rent. Every time I spend money, it comes back to me. I make double the amount of money coming back to me. Every time someone does anything wrong to me, negative to me, I'm repaid 7 times. I'm blessed by 7 times. And I say this stuff over and over and over and over and over. That's how you have to use these affirmations. And you have to cater it to yourself. I'm not sitting down writing a whole paragraph, a great big giant affirmation, and have to be politically correct. I'm just making it me. I'm making it how I talk. And it's just simple, to the point about it. And I just do it over and over and over. Now, before we wrap this up, some of you might be thinking, well, Chad, when I do affirmations, when will what I want come to me? Okay, because I manifested my Thailand visa. I started it around 6 months. I left in 6 months. I probably manifested. Probably took maybe 7, 8 months to manifest that. Okay, and even Neville Goddard would say, nobody knows the incubation period. Okay, nobody knows the incubation period of how long it takes for you to get what you want. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it's just how you really believe to your core. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, things can be instant. Things can take a little bit of time, but nobody knows that incubation period. And that's really what it comes down to, controlling the how. If you're asking those types of questions, you're really struggling with controlling the how. Okay, you're really going to go down that rabbit hole of controlling the how. When I hear those questions, well, how long is it going to take? Right then and there, I already know you're controlling the how. Okay, right then and there, I already know that you're starting that rabbit hole. You're starting to run down that rabbit hole of, when is it going to come to me? How is it going to come to me? Is it going to come to me this angle, that angle? And you run down this rabbit hole, and that's where your mind, that's how you in your conscious world, you're not controlling your thoughts. And the way you control your thoughts is by using this style of affirmation. Is once your mind starts, that's how it started in the beginning. Once my mind started to run down this rabbit hole a little bit, I would say, oh, when I come back to China, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. And one of the things that kind of helped me, I guess, for my advantage too, to kind of share, is I really had no clue how it was going to happen, because I already knew the whole visa system. I already knew every visa was out, and I was, it was just kind of like, okay, I had to let it go because there's no other way to really finagle it. So, so when I said my affirmation, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. That's what I always say. I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. Every time I thought about it, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. If I was talking to somebody here, well, when I come back, I'm coming back on a better visa. When I come back, I'm coming back on a 1-year visa. I don't have to jump through all these hoops. I would always just state that over and over and over and over again. But anyway, friends, I know this video is long-winded, but I really want to share it. I really want to kind of share my story a little bit, and so kind of exactly what's going on, exactly how I'm using it. But hopefully this helps. And if you made it this long in this video, comment below. Love to hear from you. Love you guys, and let me know how it's working for you. Let me know your affirmations. Let me know what you're saying. Let me know, if you're struggling with this stuff. Let me know, and I'll help you out. But peace out. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.